Welcome back to America Decides. President-elect Trump, huddled with, see what we did there? Huddled with many of his political allies, cabinet picks, and a former Marine acquitted of manslaughter at this weekend's Army-Navy football game. Justin Sayfie is a Republican strategist and lobbyist, joins me now at the table. Justin, good to see you. I bumped into someone pretty prominent in Washington today who said, you know, way back when our country was founded, there was a compromise to bring the capital to Washington, between kind of equidistance between North and South. He goes, I just didn't realize the capital had shifted all the way to Mar-a-Lago. There's this Florida contingent that is driving so much of the Trump transition. You're pretty right in on the Florida contingent. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, well, look, I'm a native Floridian. There aren't many of us. And since President Trump moved his residency from New York to Florida, he's been out of office for 4 years. A lot of people have made the trek to Mar-a-Lago, a lot of candidates, fundraisers, things like that. And so there's a whole contingency, there's a whole entourage of people in the Republican Party. The center of the Republican political universe is in Florida, and we're seeing that with a lot of President Trump's picks to positions like Secretary of State with Marco Rubio, former Speaker of the House of the Florida Legislature, Florida House, Pam Bondi, the two-term, very popular Attorney General of the state of Florida, Mike Waltz, Congressman from Florida, his national security advisor, Susie Wiles, his first female White House chief of staff in U.S. history, also a Floridian. So there's a lot of Floridians that are being tapped by the president to help him in the administration.
How well do you know Pam Bondi, and what would you say the nation should expect if she is confirmed as Attorney General?
I've known Pam since she first ran for Attorney General in 2010 in Florida, won a competitive Republican primary that year against a lieutenant governor, a former lieutenant governor of the state of Florida, was a very successful Attorney General.
This is all pre-Trump.
Pre-Trump, yeah.
So her political maturation in Florida occurred out from under, or not even aware of, a potential Trump factor.
She won election in 2010. She won re-election in 2014. President Trump ran for the first time, as we all know, in 2016. So her political career was 6 years in before President Trump ran for president.
So she doesn't owe her rise to Donald Trump?
No, she was elected on her own for a Republican primary in 2010.
How close
I remember very well.
To the president?
Very close. I mean, she was on his impeachment defense team and represented him during his impeachment trial in the Senate. And she's been a supporter of his for many years. Very close.
Do you imagine if she's Attorney General, Pam Bondi would give a green light to anything Kash Patel would want to do if he, in fact, becomes the FBI director?
Well, I think Pam Bondi has shown when she was Attorney General of Florida that she was an independent voice for justice, and I think that she will use her independent judgment to do what she thinks is right. If Kash Patel brings her something that she agrees with, she's going to say so, and if he brings her something that she disagrees with, she'll say so as well. I don't think there's going to be a blank check for anybody that works for Pam Bondi.
I want to talk to you about the Army-Navy game. President-elect Trump has his box there. J.D. Vance is there, the incoming vice president. J.D. Vance takes it upon himself to invite Daniel Penny to attend right after he was acquitted on various charges, the most serious of them in New York, manslaughter for a chokehold that led to the death of an enraged homeless person on a New York City subway. What do you think that symbolizes, and what do you think the message was of that invitation?
I think it symbolizes the reason that in many urban areas, there was so much more support in 2024 for Donald Trump and J.D. Vance than there was for Donald Trump in 2020. Many urban areas are dealing with crime, and this particular individual was creating fear on a subway, people just going from one place to another in a city. And I think what it represents is the Trump administration, President Trump made it very clear during the campaign that he wanted to be tough on crime. And to me, that's what it represents. It represents the fact that this administration is going to be behind law and order, and I think that was a symbolism by that invitation.
And so you would describe it as kind of reflective of concern in urban America about things being a little less controlled than they want to, and perhaps overzealous prosecution?
Potentially. I mean, you could read that into it. I think it had more to do with trying to restore a sense of normalcy and law and order in areas that have been too much crime, where people in urban areas feel fear. And that's what I think it addressed. If anyone who's been on a public transportation and has dealt with someone who's acted erratically knows that sense of fear that people feel, and I think that's what this was about.
Justin Sayfie, it's appreciate you coming in and your perspective. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Major.